Y bienvenida a la cuarta semana, semana número 4, en que vamos a estudiar capítulo 4. Voy a repasar lo que haremos esta semana. So again, as with every week, you have your objetivos específicos, in which this week in chapter 4, you're going to be talking about and describing daily routines and activities. And these are a special kind of verbs called reflexive verbs, and we'll be working a lot with those this week. Okay, you'll also be able to distinguish between when someone is talking about things that are close by or far away, the this and that and the these and the those. Okay, you'll also be able to recognize and use in brief spoken exchanges words that are associated with the patient intake form. Now you've already done part 1. We're going to cover part 2. You'll be able to talk and write about your routines using the reflexive as well as other verbs. You'll become familiar with and learn how to talk about and ask for vital signs. Okay. Students will be able to refer to direct objects by their pronouns and use them to avoid repetition while talking. You'll describe actions in progress, things that are going on right now with the present progressive structure, and discuss how long certain activities have been going on for using hace que. You'll also be able to use certain idiomatic expressions to make your language sound more natural, like hay que, for example. So you'll start off by watching this welcome video, once I've recorded it, reading the textbook course and completing the My Spanish Lab activities. You'll study vocabulary terms and take the vocab quiz number 1 in Blackboard. You'll review the pages in the textbook about daily routines and reflexive verbs, and upon finishing that, there is a written exercise located in this folder about your daily routine. And you'll also take the quiz in My Spanish Lab over the grammar. Then you'll review the vital signs vocabulary, vital signs part 1. You'll study that vocabulary, and that will be quiz number 2 in Blackboard. Now you'll see I crossed out diálogo número 5. I figured with having 3 quizzes, I would take out one of the 2 dialogues that we were going to do. You're going to turn in dialogue number 6. I'll just keep with the numbers. Okay, and I will delete where it says make comments on your classmates' language and cultural contact presentations. I will delete that, but don't forget to log in your hours of language and cultural contact. Okay. Now if we go into the folder, we'll see that you have all the abbreviated information, that you'll take the first vocabulary quiz, okay, and you'll only have 5 minutes to complete this quiz. You'll also take the grammar quiz. You'll log your hours. You'll complete the second vocabulary quiz over the vital signs part 1. Okay, and then you'll work on dialogue 6, which will be due on Sunday. And again, remember when you're working on those reflexive verbs in your daily routines, there's a práctica escrita. And so I will replace the current video that is up there right now because we are not in febrero, but I will replace that with this video once it's finished. Okay. Here's the lectura, tarea, and quiz information, and so here's the quiz number 1. So you'll watch this short video, this presentation, over the vocabulary associated with the patient intake form, part 2. You want to make sure that you take notes and study that vocabulary, and it will be that vocabulary that you'll take here under quiz, vocabulario, patient intake form number 2. And just to refresh your memory, here's some things about accent marks. Okay. So if I go back and I scrolled back down again, quiz number 2, this will be over the vital signs part 1. And so los signos vitales parte 1. You'll watch the presentation, you'll listen attentively, you'll take notes, you'll study that vocabulary, and once you feel comfortable, you'll take that quiz. Okay. And this quiz you will have 15 minutes. Okay. So if I go back to semana 4, here is that writing activity, práctica escrita, that I was talking about. And so review, study the steps below prior to completing your assignment, and you will have two options. You will be able to write it directly into Blackboard, but that may cause some issues with accent marks. So you may actually want to write it on a Word document and just upload that document. Okay? And so here's the instructions. What is your daily routine? Using all of the verbs provided, write a paragraph in which you describe what you do every day to get ready for work or school, and make sure you include times. Okay? And keep note that not all of the activities require you to use the reflexive. Okay? And as you're narrating a sequence of events, there are some connector words that you can use. For example, primero, luego, después, más tarde, por último, finalmente. And an example to get you started, primero, yo me despierto a las 5 de la mañana, luego, okay? And that is not me. Okay? So if you click on the link, you'll see here, I will change that due date. It's not March 20th. Okay. You will see that you have the option of writing your submission. So if you click on that, you can write it right here. But again, you may run into some problems with accent marks. So you may just want to browse your computer after you have saved it as a Word file and upload it. Okay. And then you will submit when you're done. So I will cancel that for right now. Okay, which brings us back to the semana 4. And then diálogo 6, you have your information there. And then recursos for this week. Okay. There's some verb conjugation and question forming practice. Here's again a PowerPoint used from a different textbook on reflexive verbs. For demonstrative, the this, that, these, and those. Object pronouns, direct object pronouns, and their direct object nouns and their pronouns, sorry. The present progressive, el presente progresivo. Okay. As some additional information here for you. Okay. So please let me know. Déjame ver if you have any questions, si tienes preguntas. Y buena suerte.